The check never came. I stared at my bank account for the third time that morning, refreshing the page like some desperate slot machine addict. The balance mocked me with its pathetic 3-digit number. No miraculous deposit. No $18,000 divorce settlement that was supposed to change everything. My name is Hadley, and 6 years of marriage to Stephen had taught me to expect disappointment. But this felt different. The divorce was final. The papers were signed. Judge Franklin had been crystal clear about the timeline. "Mom," I called out as I heard the front door slam. I hadn't invited her over, but Melina never waited for invitations. "Hadley, honey!" Her voice carried that sing-song tone she used when she was about to deliver news I wouldn't like. I brought coffee. She swept into my kitchen like she owned the place, setting down 2 cups from the expensive coffee shop downtown, the same shop I couldn't afford anymore. "The money didn't come through," I said without preamble. Melina paused, her perfectly manicured fingers wrapped around her cup. "Oh, that. I took care of it." "Took care of what?" "The settlement money. I had it transferred to a separate account to keep it safe." She said this like she was discussing the weather. My stomach dropped. "What separate account?" "Hadley, you've been through so much trauma." "I didn't want you making any rash financial decisions." She reached across the table and patted my hand. "It's for your own good. It's my money. And it's safe. Trust me." The word trust felt like sandpaper in my ears. I'd heard it too many times from Stephen, from lawyers, from family members who claimed to have my best interests at heart while making decisions about my life without consulting me. "I need that money, Mom. I have bills. Zoe needs—" "Zoe is fine. You're both fine." "You're just overwhelmed right now." I wanted to argue, but exhaustion weighed me down like a lead blanket. 6 years of fighting Stephen had drained every ounce of fight from my bones. Maybe she was right. Maybe I wasn't thinking clearly. Where exactly is this account? "Don't worry about the details. I'll handle everything." That phrase. Stephen used to say that exact phrase right before he'd make some decision that would screw me over completely. My phone buzzed. A text from Stephen. "Hope you're not counting on that settlement money for anything important." The emoji made my blood run cold. How did he know the money hadn't come through? How did he know anything about my finances anymore? "Mum, did you tell Stephen about the account?" Melina's coffee cup clinked against the table a little too hard. "Why would I talk to Stephen?" "That's not what I asked." "Hadley, you're being paranoid." "This is exactly what he said would happen." The words hung in the air like smoke. "What he said would happen?" "Nothing. I just meant—" "No, you said Stephen told you I'd be paranoid. When did you talk to him?" Melina stood up abruptly. "I should go. You need rest." She was halfway to the door when my phone rang. Stephen's name flashed on the screen. I almost declined, but something made me answer and put it on speaker. "Hey, babe. How's the bank account looking?" His voice dripped with mock concern. "Don't call me that." "Just checking in. I know how you get when things don't go according to plan." "The money will come through." Stephen laughed. "Will it, though? I mean, your mum seems to think you need some financial guidance right now." My eyes snapped to Melina, who had frozen by the front door. Her face had gone pale. "What did you just say?" "Nothing." "I just think it's sweet how your family looks out for you. Especially when you're not thinking clearly." The line went quiet except for the sound of Stephen talking to someone in the background. He must have forgotten I was still on the line. "I told her this would happen." His voice came through clearly. "She folds every time, like clockwork." Another voice responded, but I couldn't make out the words. "Trust me," Stephen continued. "She'll never figure it out. She's too busy feeling sorry for herself to ask the right questions." I hung up and stared at my mother, who was now gripping the doorknob like it was the only thing keeping her upright. "Mum, I really should go. What did he mean about you thinking I need financial guidance?" "Hadley, you're reading too much into— What aren't you telling me?" She opened the door without answering. "Get some rest." "We'll talk later." The door closed behind her with a soft click, leaving me alone with the terrible certainty that my nightmare wasn't over. It was just beginning. I called Melina 3 times before she finally picked up. "Hadley, I'm at book club." "We need to talk now." Can't this wait until? No. Either you come here or I'm driving to your house. 20 minutes later, she was back at my kitchen table, but this time without the coffee and fake smiles. You're being dramatic, she said before I could even start. Where's my money, Mom? It's safe. I already told you that. That's not an answer. Which bank? Which account number? I want specifics. Melina sighed like I was a toddler having a tantrum. Stephen warned me you'd get like this. Get like what? Emotional. Unstable. He said the divorce would make you paranoid and you'd start seeing conspiracies everywhere. The word unstable hit me like a slap. When exactly did Stephen warn you about this? Does it matter? Yes, it matters. When did you talk to my ex-husband about my mental state? Hadley, you're proving his point right now. I pulled out my phone and started recording. I want you to tell me exactly where my $18,000 is. Turn that off. No? Answer the question. Melina stood up. I'm not doing this. You're acting crazy. Crazy for wanting my own money. Crazy for thinking everyone's out to get you. Stephen said you probably accused me of stealing from you. Did he now? What else did Stephen say? Nothing. She stopped herself. You just what? I'm leaving. Call me when you're ready to be rational. After she left, I sat in my kitchen staring at my phone. The recording was only 3 minutes long, but it was enough. She'd admitted talking to Stephen. She'd used his exact words to describe me. I called my sister Marissa. Hey, what's up? Did you know Mom has been talking to Stephen? What? No. Why would she talk to Stephen? She has my divorce settlement money and won't tell me where it is. Marissa was quiet for a long moment. Hadley, are you sure you're not just what? I don't know. Stressed. Maybe you misunderstood something. I didn't misunderstand anything. She admitted she took it. Took it or is keeping it safe. There's a difference. Whose side are you on here? I'm not on anyone's side. I just think maybe you're being a little paranoid. There was that word again. Paranoid. Did Mom tell you I was being paranoid? She mentioned you were having a hard time adjusting to being single. She's worried about you. I hung up and immediately called my lawyer, William. Hadley? Is everything okay? My mother intercepted my settlement check. What do you mean, intercepted? She had it transferred to some account she won't tell me about. She says it's for my own good. That's not legal. She has no authority over your settlement funds. What can I do? First, I need you to get me documentation. Bank records, any written communication about the transfer. Do you have anything in writing? No, but I recorded our conversation today. Good. Email me that recording. I'm going to make some calls. After I hung up, I went to my computer and started digging through old emails and documents. Anything that might show a pattern of communication between Stephen and my mother. That's when I found it. Buried in my email trash folder was a message I'd accidentally deleted weeks ago. It was from my bank confirming a wire transfer authorization form had been submitted for my account. The authorization was signed by me, but I'd never signed anything like that. I stared at the signature. It looked like mine, but something was off. The H in Hadley was too perfect, too careful. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Hadley, it's Barrett, Stephen's cousin. I'd met Barrett maybe twice during my marriage. He was quiet, kept to himself at family gatherings. Hi, Barrett. Is everything okay? I heard about your divorce settlement. About the money? What about it? Stephen's been bragging about it at the bar last night. Said something about your mum helping him out. My heart started pounding. Helping him out? How? I don't know the details, but he was laughing about how you'd never figure it out. Said your mum was smarter than you gave her credit for. Barrett, I need you to tell me exactly what he said. Look, I don't want to get in the middle of family drama. This isn't drama. This is theft. He was quiet for a moment. He said your mom was the perfect character witness, said she'd do anything to protect the family's reputation, even if it meant protecting him instead of you. Character witness for what? The divorce proceedings. He said she testified that you were unstable and couldn't handle money responsibly. The room started spinning. My mother testified against me? I'm sorry, Hadley. I thought you knew. After Barrett hung up, I sat in the dark for an hour, pieces of the puzzle clicking into place. The delayed settlement, Stephen's confidence, my mother's sudden concern for my financial stability, my family's strange new attitude toward me. They'd all been talking, planning, coordinating. I opened my laptop and created a new folder on my desktop. I named it Operation Karma. Then I started gathering evidence. My phone buzzed with a voicemail at 6:47 a.m. Melina's voice shaky and defensive. "Hadley, I can't believe you're making such a big deal out of this. You're being ungrateful. I was only ever trying to protect you. Your father would be ashamed of how you're treating me right now. Call me back when you remember how to be a daughter." I saved the voicemail and added it to my evidence folder. By noon, I had 3 more voicemails, each one more manipulative than the last. The final one made my hands shake. "Fine, Hadley. If you want to destroy our family over money, that's your choice. But don't come crying to me when you realise what you've lost. Some things are more important than $18,000. I guess I raised you wrong." I was still listening to it when my doorbell rang. Juliana stood on my porch holding a bag of Chinese takeout and a bottle of wine. "You look like hell," she said, pushing past me into the house. "Thanks. Really what I needed to hear today. What's going on?" "You sounded weird on the phone yesterday." I handed her my phone with the voicemails queued up. She listened to all 4 while unpacking our lunch. "Holy manipulation, Batman. Your mum's really laying it on thick. It gets worse." I showed her the bank authorization form with the forged signature. Juliana studied it closely. "This isn't your handwriting." "I know, but it's close enough that the bank didn't question it." "Have you shown this to William?" "I'm seeing him at 3. "But Jules, there's something else." I told her about Barrett's call, about Stephen bragging at the bar. "Wait, so your mom testified against you in your own divorce?" "That's what it sounds like." Juliana set down her chopsticks. "Hadley, this isn't just about money anymore. This is fraud. Conspiracy. Your mother and your ex-husband conspired to steal from you." "I know." "Do you, though? Because you're sitting here eating lo mein like this is just family drama." "This is criminal." My phone rang. William's office. "Hadley, can you come in early? I've been making calls about your situation." "What kind of calls?" "Just come in. We need to talk." William's office smelled like leather and coffee. He had a stack of papers on his desk and a grim expression. I contacted the bank about the wire transfer authorization. They're conducting an internal investigation. What does that mean? It means they're taking this seriously. Forged signatures on financial documents are federal crimes. He slid a paper across the desk. This is a copy of the court transcript from your divorce proceedings, your mother's testimony. I read the highlighted sections, my stomach sinking with each line. She told the judge I was emotionally unstable, that I had a history of poor financial decisions. It gets worse. She recommended that the settlement be delayed until you could prove you were capable of managing the funds responsibly. She's the reason the money was delayed. Yes, and during that delay, someone with access to your personal information submitted the transfer authorization. Someone meaning my mother. I can't prove that yet, but the timing is suspicious. William leaned back in his chair. Hadley, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. Have you ever given your mother access to your banking information? Years ago, when I was married to Stephen, she helped me set up automatic bill payments when I was recovering from surgery. Did you ever revoke that access? The question hit me like a brick. I don't think so. We need to check. If she still has authorised access to your accounts, the bank might not consider the transfer fraudulent. I called the bank from William's office. After 20 minutes on hold and 3 transfers, I got my answer. Ma'am, I show that Melina Bennett has been an authorised user on your checking account since 2019. The wire transfer was processed using her authorisation. Remove her. Immediately. I'll need you to come in with proper identification to make that change. I hung up and looked at William. She's been authorised on my account for 4 years. That complicates things legally, but it doesn't make what she did right. She used her access to steal from you. What are my options? We file a civil suit for fraud and theft. We can also request a criminal investigation, though that's harder to prove with family members who have legitimate account access. Do it. File everything. William nodded. There's one more thing. I did some digging into Stephen's finances during the divorce. He made several large cash deposits during the proceedings. Deposits that don't match his reported income. You think my mother was paying him? I think someone was paying him, and the timing coincides with your mother's increased involvement in the divorce case. I left William's office with a folder full of legal documents and a court date scheduled for the following month. On the drive home, I called Barrett. Barrett, I need to ask you something else about what Stephen said at the bar. Okay. Did he mention anything about money? About getting paid? Barrett was quiet for a long moment. He said something about your mom understanding the value of family loyalty. What does that mean? He said she paid him $3,000 a month during the divorce to make sure he came out ahead. She was paying my ex-husband to fight against me. That's what it sounded like. I pulled over and sat in my car, staring at the legal documents on my passenger seat. My mother hadn't just stolen my money. She'd funded my ex-husband's legal battle against me. I opened my phone and started a new voice memo. Day 3 of Operation Karma. Evidence collected, forged bank authorization, manipulative voicemails, court testimony, and witness statement about payments to Stephen. Next step, surveillance photos. I had a feeling I was going to need them. The family group chat exploded at 2:15 p.m. on Tuesday. Marissa. Mum says Thanksgiving is at her place this year. Everyone's invited except Aunt Carol. Except who? Marissa. Hadley. She's been causing problems. Cousin Jake. What kind of problems? Marissa. Legal stuff. She's suing Mum over some misunderstanding about money. Uncle Rich. Jesus. Over how much? Marissa. $18,000. Mum was just trying to help her. Aunt Carol. That's so sad. Hadley always seemed so sweet. Cousin Jake. Divorce makes people crazy, I guess. I screenshotted every message and added them to my evidence folder. Then I called Juliana. They uninvited me from Thanksgiving. Good. Who wants to eat turkey with thieves anyway? Jules, I need you to do me a favour. Drive by my mom's house tonight around 7. See if Stephen's car is there. Why don't you do it? Because she knows my car. She doesn't know yours. Fine. But you owe me dinner. At 7:23 p.m, Juliana sent me a photo. Stephen's black BMW parked in Melina's driveway, right next to her white Lexus. They're having quite the cosy chat on the front porch, Juliana texted. Want me to get closer? No, just document everything. She sent 3 more photos. Stephen and Melina sitting close together on the porch swing. Stephen handing her an envelope. Melina hugging him goodbye. I forwarded everything to William. The next morning, I drove to Barrett's apartment. He lived in a converted warehouse downtown, the kind of place artists rented when they couldn't afford anything better. Hadley? What are you doing here? I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest. He let me inside. The apartment was sparse but clean, with canvases stacked against every wall. Barrett, when Stephen was bragging about my mom, did he say anything specific about their arrangement? I told you everything I remembered. Think harder. Anything about meetings? About how long this has been going on? Barrett sat down heavily on his couch. Look, I don't want to get involved in this. You're already involved. Stephen dragged you into it when he started bragging. He's my cousin. And I'm a person he stole from. With help from my own mother. Barrett stared at his hands for a long moment. He said they'd been meeting every week since your separation started. Said your mom was the perfect inside source because you trusted her completely. Inside source for what? Your legal strategy, your finances, your mental state, everything you told your mum she was reporting back to Stephen. The room felt like it was tilting. For how long? The whole divorce. 18 months. Did he pay her the entire time? $3,000 a month. He called it a consulting fee. I pulled out my phone and started recording. Barrett, I need you to say all of that again, on record. Hadley, I can't. You can and you will, because what they did is criminal, and you're the only witness I have. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded. Okay, but I want immunity or whatever. I don't want to get charged as an accessory. Deal! Barrett repeated everything on record. The weekly meetings, the payments, Stephen's bragging about having a spy in my own family. There's one more thing, he said, after I stopped recording. Stephen's been doing this before, with his first wife Sarah. He got her sister to spy on her during their divorce too. Are you serious? Sarah found out and sued both of them. That's why Stephen moved here from Oregon. Fresh start. I left Barrett's apartment with a sworn statement and a new understanding of just how deep this conspiracy went. Stephen wasn't just a manipulative ex-husband. He was a serial fraud who targeted women through their own families. I called William from my car. I have Barrett's statement, and William, Stephen's done this before. What do you mean? He manipulated his first wife's sister into spying during their divorce. There's a pattern here. Send me everything. I'm filing an amended complaint today. That afternoon, I got a call from an unknown Oregon number. Is this Hadley? Yes. Who's this? My name is Sarah Martinez. I used to be married to Stephen. My heart stopped. How did you get my number? Barrett gave it to me. He said you might want to talk. You're Stephen's first wife? Unfortunately. Hadley, I heard about what he's doing to you with your mother. Barrett told you? He told me everything. The same thing happened to me, except it was my sister instead of my mum. What did you do about it? I sued them both, won a settlement, but it took 3 years and cost me my relationship with my sister permanently. Was it worth it? Sarah was quiet for a moment. Ask me that question after you win your case. Will you testify about the pattern of behaviour? Already talked to your lawyer. I'm flying out next week to give a deposition. After Sarah hung up, I sat in my car outside Barrett's building and updated my evidence spreadsheet. Forged documents, recorded confessions, witness statements, financial records, surveillance photos. I had enough evidence to bury both of them. My phone buzzed with a text from Melina. I heard you've been talking to Barrett. You're making a mistake, Hadley. Some bridges can't be rebuilt once you burn them. I screenshotted the text and typed back, some bridges deserve to burn. Then I called William. File everything. I want them both served by Friday. Are you sure you're ready for this? Once we file, there's no going back. I've never been more ready for anything in my life. William's office was buzzing with activity when I arrived Friday morning. His paralegal, Janet, had 3 different stacks of documents organised across the conference table. This is everything, William said, gesturing to the papers. Financial records, witness statements, recorded conversations, surveillance photos, and Sarah's deposition from yesterday. How did Sarah's deposition go? She was incredible, detailed, credible, and she had documentation from her own case. The pattern is undeniable. Janet handed me a thick folder. These are the filing documents. We're charging your mother with fraud, theft, conspiracy, and breach of fiduciary duty. Stephen gets fraud, conspiracy, and witness tampering. Witness tampering? Paying your mother to lie in court testimony, William explained. It's a felony. I flipped through the papers, seeing my story laid out in legal language. 18 months of betrayal condensed into 43 pages of evidence. What happens next? We file this morning. They'll both be served by Monday, then we wait for their response. What kind of response? Denial? Counter-accusations? Claims that you're mentally unstable and making everything up? Let them try. William smiled grimly. That's exactly the attitude we need. I was signing the final documents when my phone rang. Zoe. Mom, Grandma's here. She wants to talk to you. Put her on speaker. Hadley? Melina's voice was tight with barely controlled anger. I know what you're planning to do. Do you? Barrett called me, told me about your little recording session. Good. Then you know I have everything. You have nothing. Barrett's a drug addict with a grudge against Stephen. No one will believe him. William raised an eyebrow and gestured for me to keep her talking. What about Sarah? Will they believe her too? Silence. Mum? Still there? You talked to Sarah? I did. Turns out Stephen's been running this scam for years. You're just his latest accomplice. I was protecting you. By stealing from me? By testifying against me in court? By taking money from my ex-husband to spy on me? You don't understand the whole situation. Then explain it. Stephen said you were having a breakdown. He showed me texts you sent him, threatening to hurt yourself. He was worried about you. I looked at William, who was frantically taking notes. What texts? The ones where you said you couldn't handle being alone. That you might do something drastic. Mum, I never sent Stephen any texts like that. He showed them to me on his phone. He faked them, just like he faked my signature on the bank authorization. That's impossible. Is it? Because I have proof of everything. The forged signature, the payments he made to you, your testimony against me, all of it. Melina's voice cracked. Hadley, please! We can work this out as a family. We stopped being a family the day you chose him over me. I hung up and looked at William. Did you get all that? Every word. She just admitted to taking money from Stephen and lying in court testimony. Can we use it? Absolutely. Janet returned with a stack of papers. Filed and processed. Service of process is scheduled for Monday morning. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in months. For the first time since this nightmare started, I felt like I was in control. That evening, Juliana came over with pizza and wine. So, how does it feel to officially be a badass? Ask me Monday after they get served. I still can't believe your own mother did this to you. The worst part is she probably still thinks she was helping me. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is Stephen. We need to talk. I showed Juliana the message. Don't respond, she said immediately. I'm not planning to. Another text. Your mom is devastated. Is this really what you want? Then another. I can make this all go away if you just drop the lawsuit. And another. Think about Zoe. Do you really want her to see her grandmother go to jail? He's panicking, Juliana observed. Good. My phone rang. Stephen calling. Don't answer it, Juliana said. I answered and put it on speaker. Hadley, thank God. We need to meet. No, we don't. Your mother is falling apart. She never meant to hurt you. Then she shouldn't have stolen from me. It wasn't stealing. She was protecting you from making bad financial decisions. By forging my signature and lying in court, she was trying to help. Stephen, I have recordings of you bragging about paying her to spy on me. I have bank records of the payments. I have witness statements. I have everything. The line went quiet. Stephen? You still there? This doesn't have to get ugly, Hadley. It's already ugly. You made it ugly when you turned my mother against me. I never turned her against you. She came to me. She was worried about your mental state after the separation. Liar. Ask her yourself. She'll tell you the truth. I don't need to ask her anything. I have Barrett's statement about your weekly meetings. I have Sarah's testimony about your pattern of behaviour. I have everything I need to destroy both of you. Stephen's voice changed, became cold. You're making a mistake. The only mistake I made was trusting either of you. I hung up and immediately called William. Stephen just tried to intimidate me into dropping the lawsuit. Did you record the call? No, but Juliana heard everything. Good enough. I'm filing for a restraining order first thing Monday morning. Can you do that? After what he just did? Absolutely. I looked at Juliana, who was grinning. What? You just went full savage on your ex-husband. I'm so proud. This is just the beginning. I parked across the street from Melina's house at 9:47 a.m. Monday morning. The process server was supposed to arrive at 10, and I wanted to see her face when she got served. Juliana sat in the passenger seat with a thermos of coffee and her phone ready to record. Are you sure you want to watch this? She asked. I've been waiting for this moment for weeks. At exactly 10 o'clock, a woman in a navy blazer walked up Melina's front steps carrying a manila envelope. She rang the doorbell twice before Melina answered, still in her bathrobe. Melina Bennett? Yes. You've been served. The woman handed over the envelope and walked away quickly. Melina stood frozen on her porch, staring at the papers like they might explode. She tore open the envelope and pulled out the lawsuit. Even from across the street, I could see her face go white. Oh my God! She screamed, loud enough for the neighbours to hear. Oh my God, no! She threw the papers into the street and stumbled backward into her house, slamming the door. "Holy shit," Juliana whispered. She completely lost it. "Get the papers." "What?" "The papers," she threw. "Get them before they blow away." Juliana jogged across the street and collected the scattered documents while I kept watch. When she got back to the car, we could hear Melina screaming inside the house. "Should we call someone?" Juliana asked. "No. Let her process this however she needs to." My phone rang 20 minutes later. Melina, sobbing hysterically. "How could you do this to me?" "The same way you did it to me." "I'm your mother." "You were my mother. Now you're just someone who stole from me." "Hadley, please, I'm begging you." "Drop this lawsuit and we can work everything out." "There's nothing to work out. You committed fraud. You're going to face the consequences." "I'll pay you back, every penny, with interest." "It's too late for that." "Please, I could lose my house." "You should have thought about that before you forged my signature." "I never forged anything." "Mum, I have the bank authorization with your handwriting trying to copy mine. I have recordings of you admitting Stephen paid you. I have witness statements. Stop lying." She was crying so hard I could barely understand her. "You're destroying our family. You destroyed our family when you chose Stephen over me. I was trying to protect you by stealing $18,000 from me, by making sure you didn't waste it. It wasn't your decision to make." The line went quiet except for her sobbing. "Mum, I can't believe you hate me this much." "I don't hate you. I'm just done being your victim." I hung up and immediately got another call. Marissa. "Hadley, what the hell is wrong with you?" "Excuse me." "Mom just called me crying. She said you're suing her." "I am." "Over money? You're going to destroy our family over money?" "She stole from me, Marissa. She forged documents and lied in court." "That's not what happened." "Then what did happen?" "She was trying to help you. She was worried you'd make bad decisions with the settlement money. So she decided to steal it instead. She didn't steal anything. She was keeping it safe in an account I can't access without telling me. That's called theft." "You're being ridiculous." "Am I? Did you know she was taking money from Stephen during my divorce?" Marissa went quiet. "Did you know she was spying on me for him, reporting everything I told her in confidence?" "That's not..." "She wouldn't..." $3,000 a month, Marissa, for 18 months. She was literally on Stephen's payroll while pretending to support me. "I don't believe you." "I have bank records. I have witness statements. I have recordings of her admitting it. Even if that's true, she's still our mother. And I'm still her daughter. That didn't stop her from betraying me." "Hadley, please, just drop the lawsuit. We can handle this as a family." We tried handling it as a family. That's how I ended up getting robbed. "You're being dramatic." "I'm being realistic. Mum committed multiple felonies. She's going to face the consequences." "What if she goes to jail?" "Then she goes to jail. How can you be so cold?" 6 years of marriage to Stephen taught me how to be cold. Mum's betrayal perfected it. I hung up and looked at Juliana, who had been listening to both calls. "Your family's really something." "They're not my family anymore." My phone rang again. This time it was William. "Stephen's been served. His lawyer already called, wanting to negotiate." "What kind of negotiation?" "Full restitution plus damages in exchange for dropping the criminal charges." "What did you tell them?" "I told them we'd consider it after we see their financial records and get a formal admission of guilt. And if they refuse, then we go to trial and let a jury decide their fate." "Good. Hadley, there's something else. Your mother's lawyer called too." "She wants to meet." "What for?" "She claims your mother has information about Stephen that could help our case. Information she's willing to share in exchange for a plea deal." "What kind of information?" "She wouldn't say over the phone, but she hinted it's about other victims." I looked out at Melina's house, where the curtains were still drawn and no lights were on. "Set up the meeting." "Are you sure?" "If she wants to flip on Stephen to save herself, I want to hear what she has to say. This could get complicated. It's already complicated. But maybe it's time for my mother to choose the right side for once." That evening, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. You think you've won, but this is just the beginning. You have no idea what you've started. I forwarded it to William and added it to my evidence folder. Then I opened my laptop and updated my Operation Karma spreadsheet. Defendant served. Panic mode activated. Game on. Marissa called Wednesday morning at 6:30 a.m. Hadley, I need you to come to Thanksgiving dinner. Are you serious? You uninvited me, remember? That was before. This is different. Different how? Just, please. Mom needs you there. Mom needs me there? The same mom who stole $18,000 from me? Hadley, something happened. Someone sent copies of your lawsuit to the whole family. I sat up in bed. What do you mean the whole family? Uncle Rich, Aunt Carol, all the cousins. Everyone got a manila envelope yesterday with copies of all your court documents. I didn't send those. Then who did? I had a pretty good idea, but I kept quiet. Will you come, please? It's going to be a disaster if you're not there. Why would I want to be there for a disaster? Because you're the only one who can explain what really happened. Against my better judgment, I agreed. Thanksgiving at Melina's house was usually chaos, but this year felt different. Cars lined the street, but when I walked up to the front door, I could hear angry voices through the windows. Marissa met me on the porch. Thank God you're here. What's going on? Uncle Rich is furious. He lent Mum $5,000 last month, and now he thinks she used it to pay Stephen. Did she? I don't know. She won't talk to anyone. Inside, the house was packed with family members, but instead of the usual holiday chatter, everyone was clustered in small groups whispering. The dining room table was covered with manila envelopes. Uncle Rich spotted me first. Hadley! Finally someone who can explain this mess. He waved a copy of my lawsuit in the air. Is this real? Did your mother really steal from you? Every word of it. And Stephen was paying her. $3,000 a month for 18 months. Aunt Carol gasped. $54,000? That's what the bank records show. Cousin Jake held up his phone. I've been Googling Stephen. Did you know he was arrested in Oregon for fraud? I found out during my investigation. Jesus Christ, Melina! Uncle Rich shouted toward the kitchen. You got involved with a criminal! Melina appeared in the doorway, her face puffy from crying. She looked directly at me. Are you happy now? You've destroyed everything. I didn't destroy anything. I exposed what you destroyed. I was trying to protect you. By committing felonies? The room went dead silent. Felonies? Aunt Carol whispered. Fraud, theft, perjury, conspiracy. I listed them off. All documented in the court filing. Uncle Rich stepped forward. Melina, I want my $5,000 back, right now. I don't have it. Where is it? I gave it to my lawyer. Your lawyer? For what? Melina looked around the room at all the angry faces. To defend myself against her lawsuit. You used my money to fight your own daughter in court? Uncle Rich's voice was getting louder. She's trying to put me in jail. Maybe you belong in jail, he shouted back. That's when Zoe walked in from the kitchen. She'd been quiet through all of this, but now she looked directly at Melina. Grandma, did you really help Dad steal from Mum? Zoe, you don't understand. I understand that Mom worked 2 jobs to pay for my school clothes while you were taking money from Dad to spy on her. That's not what happened. Then what did happen? Zoe's voice was steady, but I could see tears in her eyes. Because I read the court documents too. Melina started crying again. I thought I was helping. Stephen said your mother was having a breakdown. He showed me texts where she threatened to hurt herself. He faked those texts, I said quietly. How do you know? Because I never sent them. Just like I never signed the bank authorization you forged. Cousin Jake looked up from his phone again. Holy shit. Stephen's not even in the state anymore. What? I found his social media. He posted photos from Las Vegas yesterday. Looks like he's been there for weeks. The room erupted in angry voices. Everyone talking at once, demanding answers from Melina that she couldn't give. I stood up and walked to the centre of the room. Can everyone please be quiet for a minute? The voices died down. I know you all have questions. I know this is confusing and upsetting. But here are the facts. I pulled out my phone and started reading from my notes. On October 15th, my divorce settlement of $18,000 was supposed to be deposited into my account. Instead, my mother used her authorized access to transfer it to an account I couldn't access. She did this without my knowledge or consent. During my 18-month divorce proceedings, Stephen paid my mother $3,000 a month to testify against me in court and report my private conversations to him. My mother forged my signature on bank documents and lied under oath in family court. She did all of this while pretending to support me and claiming Stephen was the problem. I looked directly at Melina. And when I found out and confronted her, she tried to gaslight me into thinking I was crazy. Uncle Rich threw his copy of the lawsuit on the coffee table. Melina, is any of that untrue? She didn't answer. Is any of it untrue? He repeated. I was trying to help, she whispered. That's not what I asked. Melina looked around the room one more time, then collapsed into a chair. No, it's all true. The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, Zoe spoke up. Mum, I'm proud of you for fighting back. Zoe? No, Grandma. What you did was wrong, and Mum deserves better. I looked around the room at my family. Some looked angry, some looked disappointed, but none of them looked surprised anymore. I'm going home, I announced. Anyone who wants the truth can read the court documents. Anyone who wants to keep pretending this is about family loyalty can stay here and enable a criminal. I was halfway to the door when Marissa called out, Hadley, wait! I turned around. I'm sorry. I should have believed you from the beginning. Yes, you should have. Can we try to fix this? I looked at her, then at Melina, who was still crying in her chair. Some things can't be fixed, Marissa. They can only be survived. I left them there to figure out what was left of their family dinner. William called me the Monday after Thanksgiving at 7:15 a.m. We won. What do you mean we won? Stephen's lawyer called this morning. Full settlement. Your $18,000 plus interest, plus damages for emotional distress, plus all legal fees. I sat down hard on my kitchen chair. How much total? $47,000. And Stephen? Pleading guilty to fraud and conspiracy. He's looking at 2 to 5 years, but he'll probably get probation and community service since he's paying full restitution. What about my mother? That's more complicated. She wants to meet with you before she decides how to plead. Why? She says she has information about other women Stephen targeted. She's willing to cooperate with the district attorney's investigation in exchange for a reduced sentence. I was quiet for a long moment. Hadley? You still there? Set up the meeting. The meeting was scheduled for Wednesday at William's office. Melina arrived with her lawyer, a sharp-looking woman in her 50s who clearly didn't suffer fools. My client wants to make a statement, the lawyer said, without preamble. Melina looked older than I'd ever seen her. Her hair was unwashed, her clothes wrinkled, her hands shaking slightly. Hadley, I need you to know that I never meant for any of this to happen. But it did happen. Stephen showed me text messages, photos. He said you were having a breakdown and might hurt yourself or Zoe. Those were fake. I know that now. But at the time I believed him. He was very convincing. Convincing enough to pay him $54,000. Melina's lawyer leaned forward. My client has information about at least 3 other women Stephen defrauded using similar tactics. She's prepared to testify against him in exchange for a plea agreement. What kind of plea agreement? Probation, restitution, and community service. No jail time. I looked at Melina. What information? Names, bank records, phone recordings. Stephen kept detailed files on all his targets. You have access to his files? He stored everything on a shared cloud drive. He gave me access so I could help him track your activities. William and I exchanged glances. How many other women? I asked. At least 5 that I know of, maybe more. And you're willing to turn over everything? If it means I don't go to prison, yes. I stared at my mother across the conference table. She looked broken, desperate, nothing like the confident woman who had stolen from me just weeks ago. I have conditions. What conditions? You pay me back every penny Stephen paid you, all $54,000. I don't have that much money. Then you sell your house. Melina's face went white. Hadley, please. That house is all I have. My settlement money was all I had. You didn't care about that. I can't sell my house. Where would I live? You should have thought about that before you decided to commit fraud. Her lawyer whispered something in her ear. What else? Melina asked quietly. You stay away from Zoe until she's 18 and can decide for herself if she wants a relationship with you. That's not fair. Neither was stealing from me. Anything else? You write a letter to every family member explaining exactly what you did and why. No excuses, no justifications, just the truth. Melina was crying now, but I felt nothing. Do we have a deal? She nodded. I need to hear you say it. We have a deal. The paperwork took 2 hours to finalise. By the time we finished, Melina had agreed to cooperate fully with the district attorney's investigation, pay me back the full amount Stephen had paid her, and accept a restraining order, keeping her away from Zoe. As we were leaving, she grabbed my arm. Hadley, I'm sorry. I know you don't believe me, but I really thought I was helping. I looked down at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, Mom, but it's still hell. I pulled my arm away and walked out. That evening, I sat at my computer with a glass of wine and opened Reddit. I'd been thinking about this moment for weeks. I clicked on R Pro Revenge and started typing. My mum stole $18,000 from my divorce settlement, so I gave her the receipt for karma. I wrote out the entire story, every detail, every betrayal, every moment of doubt and every piece of evidence. I wrote about the surveillance photos and the recorded confessions and the family dinner from hell. I wrote about Barrett and Sarah and William and Juliana. I wrote about Zoe standing up to her grandmother and Marissa finally choosing the right side. I wrote about justice and consequences and the price of betrayal. When I finished, the post was over 3,000 words long. I read it twice, then hit submit. Within an hour, it had 50 upvotes and dozens of comments. People sharing their own stories of family betrayal, people cheering for my victory, people asking for updates. My phone buzzed with a text from Juliana. Just saw your Reddit post. You're officially internet famous. Then another from Zoe. Mum, I'm proud of you. You're the strongest person I know. And finally, one from Marissa. I read your post. I'm sorry it took me so long to see the truth. Can we have dinner this weekend? I closed my laptop and looked around my apartment. It was small and cluttered, and nothing like the house I'd shared with Stephen. But it was mine. Paid for with money that actually belonged to me. My phone rang. William. Hadley, you need to see the news. Stephen was arrested in Las Vegas this morning. Apparently, your mother's information helped the FBI connect him to a multi-state fraud ring. How many victims? And at least 12 women across 4 states. Your case was the key that broke it all open. I hung up and opened my Operation Karma folder on my desktop. I scrolled through all the evidence I'd collected, all the screenshots and recordings and documents that had brought down 2 people who thought they could steal from me without consequences. Then I right-clicked on the folder and selected Rename. I typed in the new name, Justice Served. My Reddit post was up to 500 upvotes now. The comments section was full of people calling me a hero, a badass, an inspiration, but the comment that meant the most came from a username I didn't recognise. Thank you for sharing this. My sister is going through something similar with her ex and her own mother. Your story gave her the courage to fight back. I smiled and closed the laptop. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting justice. And sometimes justice comes with interest.